What's up, guys? Welcome to Bet the Day for Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Drinko. Happy May 5th, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. As you can see, I got the people joining me on TikTok right here. I got the people on YouTube right here, guys. As you can see on YouTube, got a nice little festive screen today. We're feeling good. It's Cinco de Mayo, people. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Yesterday was not good. We were 4-5 on the day. We were 5-4 the day before. We're teetering. You know what? We were talking before the show about the Sixers, right? I decided to go Sixers +8. Boy, was that a mistake last night because Houston Harden is dead. So before we get into the show, though, guys, few announcements here. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Follow if you're watching on TikTok, guys. Let's get those likes up. We hit 4K, 5K yesterday. I want 6K today on TikTok, people, guys. Let's get those likes up. Subscribe. We also have merch, guys. If you want merch, a Bet the Day shirt, official merchandise, guys, go in the link on TikTok. Go in the link in the description on YouTube, guys. You'll be able to find all that stuff. Very nice shirts there. Subscribe, join our TikTok, join our Discord, guys. Discord is the #1 place where you can interact with me every single day, interact with our other content creators and our whole community. We are giving out winners in there. A lot of the tickets I post on TikTok, guys, I mean, those are from our Discord. So just keep that in mind, guys. We are winning big time in that Discord. Make sure you join. Make sure you get in it, guys. So going to be a great day. We got Jeff Fink joining us over from Whatahockey podcast. So it's going to be a hockey-driven show. Now, we don't have basketball today. We'll still talk a little basketball, obviously, but this will be a hockey-driven show. He's going to join me in about 10 minutes here. We'll talk for 20, 30, and then we'll finish up with my best bets of the day in baseball and basketball. Got the comments rolling in here. I told you, Heat -6. I know, guys. I know. Listen, I know. But you know what? I will say this. The Sixers came out and fought last night. That was pretty impressive. Rangers money line tonight has absolutely no value for me, though, juice-wise. It's too high. Let's get this money today. That dad, though. How we doing, everyone? Let's win some money. So, before Jeff joins the show, we're going to recap a little bit of basketball here, recap a little bit of baseball, and then we'll talk hockey with him from yesterday, today, and then what he sees for the overall landscape of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So very excited about that, guys. First things first, 76ers +8. Boy, was that a mistake. And you know what? I was watching this game from a bar early. I watched it the second half from my home here, and I was like, you know what? This team has a chance. And as long as I was waiting for, I was waiting for James Harden to take over the game, and he was unable to do it. I thought he could get 22.5 points. He couldn't get anywhere close to 22.5. He had 20 points. And I heard a stat last night on the TV broadcast. It was like, he hasn't gone over 25 in a playoff game in a very, very long time. Harden is now a role player. Yes, he is. 100%. Harden is now a role player. BP311 coming in here on YouTube, guys. Also, if you're watching on TikTok, you want to join the fun on YouTube, get the graphics, get the overlays, come on down. Links in the bio, guys. BP311 got that over in game 2. Wild Blues 6-2. There we go. Yeah, Wild, man, they came out last night on fire. But you know what we've always said about the Wild? Kirill Kaprizov. If you don't shut Kirill down, you are going to have a rough night, and that's exactly why the Blues had trouble. So we're going to talk hockey a little bit later. BP311, I'll be on his podcast again on Friday, guys. Go check him out on YouTube. Anyways, let's keep it moving here. Tyrese Maxey did step up. He dropped 34 points last night. That was big time. But at the same time, this whole Sixers team, nobody really took control last night. And it needed to be James Harden. It genuinely needed to be James Harden Tyler Hero came through big for the Heat, right? They got a bunch of production off their bench. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. They were really, really good off the bench too. And that's why the Sixers were ultimately defeated, but just not a good night. What's your favorite hockey team, LMAO? Hey, listen. He's a playoff fraud. Who's a playoff fraud? Keep commenting, guys. I'm trying to, guys, man, the people reading YouTube comments, TikTok comments. Wild, your favorite hockey team. Wild are not my favorite hockey. Minnesota is filled with fraudulent sports franchises. You guys know that. And listen, I bet St. Louis wins this series. I really genuinely think they do because the Wild just always disappoint. They always disappoint because they don't play defense. But the way to beat the Wild, honestly, you got to get up on them early. You cannot have Kirill Kaprizov just own you like they did last night. Okay, Suns, Mavericks plus 6.5 here. Let's talk about this game. Now, I'm gonna accept defeat right now. I'm gonna accept defeat. And you know what? A lot of people who work for 3-Team Parlay are probably not gonna like this. Let's get the likes up, people. But the Mavericks cannot compete with the Suns. The Mavericks in no way can compete with the Suns because the Suns shot 64.5% from the field last night. And as good as the Mavericks were, I shouldn't say as good as the Mavericks were, as good as Luka was, nobody else wants to step up for this team. And you know what? The Mavericks still shot 40-something% from 45, 46% from the field. But it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough when the Suns are shooting 64.5% from the field, right? The Mavericks played okay behind Luka, right? But I was waiting for someone else to step up and say, hey, I'm going to be the guy alongside Luka, and nobody wanted to do it. Luka had 35. He had 7 assists, right? Jalen Brunson needed to step up. He was 3 of 12 from the field. I needed to see more of Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench. He was 3 of 10 from the field. I will say this, Reggie Bullock had a good game. He had a very good game getting 19, but that's not enough. That's not enough to get the job done. Nobody stepped up. There we go. Perfect comments. I said LMI. I was joking. There you go. My favorite team's the Bruins, right there, Bruins. And they are an absolute joke. They are a joke. And we will talk about that in a little bit when Jeff Fink joins the show of What a Hockey Podcast. But anyways, just an absolute joke for the Bruins. Or not Bruins, yes. Now I'm fired up. An absolute joke by the Mavericks. They're just not good enough to compete with this team. And like at halftime, I was feeling pretty good, but then they just couldn't match that pace. They couldn't match that pace. So we'll recap baseball right here, and then Jeff's going to join the show. We're going to talk a little hockey podcast, or talk about his hockey podcast, What a Hockey. We're going to talk about Stanley Cup playoffs and all that good stuff, but let's talk baseball real quick. Cardinals, Royals, under 8. The Cardinals, guys, why did they show up and decide to hit the ball yesterday? Why? I don't understand it. Now, the Cardinals are the only team, though, that'll score 5 runs in the first inning, and I'll be like, oh, my God, this game still has a chance of going under. Like, that's how bad this Cardinals offense has been, right? Tyler O'Neill broke my heart. We were going to have a push. It was in the 9th inning. There were 8 runs. We had the under at 8. And then you know what happened? Tyler O'Neill went yard because the Royals cannot play defense. They can't pitch. They can't do a damn thing. Now, Chris Bubbick, send him down to the minor leagues, people. Chris Bubbick, send him down to the minors. He was horrendous yesterday. He didn't even make it through he went, 0.1 innings? He went 1/3 of an inning. It was bad. Anyways, we lost that bet. Yankees versus Blue Jays. Blue Jays money line plus 118. Blue Jays came through for us 2-1 win. Yusei Kikuchi was phenomenal. He controlled the strike zone. That's exactly what we said he needed to do, and he did it. So really nice job by him. Yankees over 8 with runners in scoring position, 10 strikeouts. A little too much swing and miss in this lineup. A little too much swing and miss. We got Go Mavs in the comment section. The Mavs are done. 3-Team Parlay Sports. Come on now. I went for him last night. I'm never doing it again. Panthers money line, Avs over 6.5, and Flames money line. We're going to talk about that right in a minute here when Jeff joins the show. And then finally, our last baseball bet here. Rays money line versus the A's. I said it the whole time. I said the Rays are a better team. They're better in every single statistical category, and they didn't even play well. Tampa Bay was really, really bad last night. Really bad. But at the same time, the A's weren't good. And Frankie Montas, I got to give him a little credit last night. But Corey Kluber was just a lot better. 6 innings, struck out 7. Really, really nice job out of him. And Kluber's not good. That's the thing, people. Kluber is not good. That's scary. So let's read some comments on TikTok here. Is Jeff a hockey guy? Take his picks. Yes, I would take his picks, guys. He's going to join the show here in a minute. Let's see what else we got going on TikTok right now. Leafs need to wake up. We'll talk about that. Bro, your hit rate is like 54%. No, it's not. It's 58%. Check my record. What's the mega max in NHL? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Come on now, boys. Come on now. We had a bad day yesterday. We bounced back today. We're teetering. Today's our day. What's good from Arizona? How we doing? David Tome, Arizona. Gotta love that. So Michael Mitchell here in YouTube. Hey, Tanner, how you doing? Michael, I'm doing good, man. I'm sorry last night. Last night wasn't good. Baseball is my best sport. That's the one you didn't tail me in. So anyways, guys, Jeff Fink is here. Very excited to have him on. What a Hockey Podcast. We're going to break down Stanley Cup playoffs and a bunch of other stuff. So very excited to welcome Jeff to the show. Jeff, how you doing, man?
What's up, Tanner? I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Now, I could be better. I could be better if the Bruins would have showed up a little bit last night. But, it is what it is. Now, you're a Stars guy, so hopefully you have better luck tonight than I had last night.
Yeah. First and foremost, thanks for having me on. Secondly, if we're talking anything betting wise, that's the series you're going to want to bet the under every time. Calgary and Dallas is just super defense heavy. But yeah, I'm hoping we can pull one out. I think you and I chatted a little bit. I felt a lot better when I saw the Nashville score of game one, them getting absolutely demolished, and the Stars only losing by a goal, which is kind of their calling card. The Stars are, if I remember correctly, probably leading the NHL in 1-goal games, victories and defeats. So, yeah, definitely going to be taking the under on them, but just excited to watch more hockey tonight.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny, and we were talking like hockey. I love hockey. It's not my favorite sport to watch out of all of them, but when playoffs roll around, everyone becomes a massive hockey fan for sure. Now, I got a question for you right away. Before we even get into hockey, I got to ask you, what's the Whatahockey name podcast? Where did that come from? I imagine something with Whataburger, but again, I'm in the Northeast, so that's nowhere near me.
Yeah. So, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. Me and a couple of buddies who used to write for a website before COVID destroyed it, which I think they bounced back. Good for them. Don't even remember the name of it. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Recruited those guys, but they're a couple of locals here in Dallas as well, as I'm in Dallas too. So we've been at it for about a year and a half. But yeah, we're all huge Texas hockey fans. And yeah, Whatahockey was born because we were like, what are the two things that we love the most? Whataburger and hockey. Let's just put them together and then spread the good news that there's a ton of hockey to be had down here in the South, specifically in Texas. And we've just been working on that for about a year and a half now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So I got to get down. When I get to Dallas, I got to go enjoy a Whataburger. I don't even know how to say it, but I wish we had them up in the Northeast for sure.
We will definitely we'll baptize you properly with all the white gravy, spicy ketchup, and Whataburger you can have.
There you go. I love that. So I want to recap yesterday real quick before we start talking about today and then the overall landscape of the playoffs. But, Bruins didn't show up last night. Real quick, I know I'm a Bruins fan, so this might be a homer question here, but does this team have any chance of winning one game against Carolina in this series? Because they haven't beat them yet this year.
I will say, and obviously this is going to be different because the Stanley Cup is one of, if not the most difficult trophies to win in all of sports. It is very, very rare. Outside of the Penguins and the Tampa Bay Lightning here recently, it is almost impossible to repeat. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this season. But I will say, if there is one team in my mind that could make a run and come back from a 2-0 deficit, it's Boston. We've seen it before. Prime example was against the Maple Leafs, where they came back and stormed back in Game 7, one of the most famous calls of all time. So there's a lot of fight left in this team. When you've got guys like Brad Marchand still with the franchise, Patrice Bergeron, you've got a lot of veterans that have been in this position before and are not afraid to go in the locker room and probably say, hey, listen, buckle up, boys, because this is a 2-0 series. We're not down. We're not out. They still have to win 2 more. And we're going back to Boston. I mean, that is if there are any arenas in the NHL that can turn the tide by the fans alone, the TD Garden in Boston is definitely one of them. So don't count them out yet. I will say if Carolina can steal 1 of 2 in Boston, then you can sort of start panicking a little bit. But Boston is a rascally franchise, and they've known how to bounce back. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens in these next 2 games.
Yeah, 100%. I think bookmakers give Boston so much respect in the playoffs. Like the way it looked yesterday, they shouldn't have been plus 100. They should have been more like plus 160, plus 170. But like you said, TD Garden, riot kind of place. Like it's going to be loud there. They got a chance to do something, especially with that core with Bergeron and Marchand and Pasternak and all that. Now, I want to talk about this series because this is the most entertaining series of the whole playoffs so far. Lightning and then the Leafs, right? Andrei Vasilevskiy, unbelievable game last night. Still undefeated after a loss in the playoffs. So I hammered Tampa Bay last night. Who do you have in the series overall? Because right now, it's definitely a toss-up.
So if you looked at all of my brackets that I've done throughout this entirety of the leading up to the Stanley Cup playoffs, I've hammered the Leafs in almost every single one of them. Now, that's not to say Vasilevskiy can literally do what he did last night and steal a series by himself. As a Stars fan, we don't have any short-term memory loss. So we remember playing against Vasilevskiy in the playoffs, in the Stanley Cup bubble, and losing ultimately in 6 games. So it's going to be really tough for the Leafs to pull this one out. Obviously this is a a betting heavy show. So I will say bet the over every time because you are not going to be disappointed. Even though Vasilevsky is one of the best, if not the best goaltender in the world, he will allow goals because let's be honest, the Maple Leafs are one of the most potent teams in the last probably 15, 20 years, but they are the Maple Leafs. So it's very, very difficult for me to sit here and say, I have full faith that the Maple Leafs are going to advance to the second round because, if you have lived under a rock in the hockey world, that the Maple Leafs, it doesn't matter who they play in the first round. The first round alone is their biggest villain, their biggest enemy. So it'll be interesting. I really think Maple Leafs will pull this out in 7 games. I think Tampa Bay is going to give them everything. Tampa Bay just has so many Stanley Cup caliber guys that have returned and guys that you don't even think about talking about. Pat Maroon, Corey Perry, prime example. Look what happened. Corey Perry was with the Stars. They went to the Stanley Cup final. Then he went to the Canadiens. They went to the Stanley Cup final. Now he's with Tampa Bay, who's been in the Stanley Cup final for the past 2 seasons. He is a difference maker because he is a locker room presence, a veteran, and he's someone like a Brad Marchand that can get into your head and live there rent-free for the entirety of the series that you're playing against him. So it's going to be really interesting. I hope for all of hockey, it goes 7 games regardless of who takes it and goes into the second round. But this is very reminiscent of the series. I think it was last year with the Panthers and the Lightning where they just basically beat each other into a bloody pulp. And it was the most entertaining series in the NHL playoffs last year. So, yeah, definitely going to be interesting. I think the Maple Leafs take it in 7. I hope I'm right just because I've got a personal qualm with the Lightning. And I think a little bit of storyline and notoriety will be good if the Lightning get bumped out. So, Leafs in 7. I want to say quote me, but I'm afraid people will come for me in the comments afterwards.
Nah, you're good. The people are pretty good here. But yeah, I think like NHL playoffs all about star power, right? We saw in game 1 that series, Austin Matthews stepped up. And then for the Wild, on the other hand, when we look at the Blues and Wild series, Kirill Kaprizov was non-existent in game 1. He comes together last night. He has an unbelievable game, right? And they roll over the Blues. I have the Blues as my one upset pick in the first round. Like they are my favorite team against the Wild, quite frankly, that don't really play defense, in my opinion, especially when they get down. Now, are you on the Wild or are you on the Blues train?
This one was tough because I will say after game 1, I thought, wow, the Wild are in a little bit of a pickle. The Wild have kind of had that monkey on their back of not playing good playoff hockey when they do make it into the playoffs. So, but they're really all in. Bill Guerin, their GM, has basically said, I don't care about anything after this season. It comes down to this season. And what I mean by that is, the Stars benefited because we have Ryan Suter. Some fans won't say we benefited, but we have Ryan Suter and Zach Parise. They are gone off the books because they bought them out. So after this season, they're going to be in cap hell for a very, very long time paying off those contracts. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after this season. But that being said, it would not surprise me if the Wild pull this one out. You've got Cam Talbot and Marc-Andre Fleury. Cam Talbot, this is the most interesting story to me in the playoffs right now. Finished the season, I want to say around 11 or 13-0. So he came in to the postseason hot. But when you've got a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury, who has won the Stanley Cup and the Vezina Trophy a number of times, he's one of the most likable guys in the game, in the sport. It's hard to go against that. You obviously gave up a lot to get him in Minnesota. And so now you have him, and it's obviously the point of why you have him is where you're at. So, the Blues are an interesting team. They're always around. They always seem to find themselves in a playoff position. But look for the Minnesota Wild to take this one in 6, I believe. I think they're going to take the momentum from last night. They're going to go into St. Louis. They're going to win at least one of two of those games. And then they're going to continue to roll on to the next round. I really, really think, with guys like Kaprizov kind of lighting up a little bit, Zuccarello with the veteran presence, it's going to be an interesting series, but I'm thinking 6 games is all it's going to take for the Wild to go to the next round.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see the Blues do it because, like I said, I got a future bet on the Blues to win this series ultimately, but we will see what happens there. Now, we had Edmonton and LA. I think this is going to be a good series, but the people on TikTok are looking for the pick. So unless you have something big to say about this series, first of all, what's your brief take on that? And then we'll move into today's games.
Oilers in 5. I think the Kings surprised a lot of people in that first game. But you've got arguably the two best players in the world. If they can just play a little bit of defense for the next couple of games, I think they take the momentum from last night. and they just cruise on to the next round. I think 5 games is all it's going to take. I think they're about to go on a mini streak these next 3 games. And this is going to probably rub a lot of the Oilers fans the wrong way, but I'm just tired of seeing Connor McDavid and Draisaitl lose the best seasons of their career with a franchise who won't go and get a true goaltender. No offense, Mike Smith, but his record shows he's not a true Stanley Cup goaltender. So this round, I see them getting past the Kings. The Kings are going to put up a fight, but ultimately with those guys on their team, it's going to be really, really hard to keep up with their offensive momentum.
Yeah, 100%. When it comes down to that team, they need to score goals. If they're not doing it, they're going to have a tough time. Got some comments rolling in here. YouTube Wilcox, another great show. Appreciate that, guys. We're going to start breaking down picks, guys. If you're watching on TikTok right now, let's get those likes up. 2.1 thousand. Me and Jeff working hard over here. Let's get the likes up, guys. Ask him questions. Drop them in the chat, and we will get to them all. So we're going to start with Pittsburgh and New York. Now, I legitimately thought there would be bodies laying on the ice the other night at the Garden after what we saw. I mean, 3 overtimes. That was just, I had the Rangers. It didn't work out in my favor, right? But that was just impressive to watch those guys go, an extra, what probably ended up being, 40, 45 minutes of hockey?
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so beautiful about the playoffs is just, I think it was Columbus and I want to say Minnesota or Tampa, I can't remember off the top of my head, that had like a wild 5-game overtime. And you essentially are playing 2 full games back to back. It just shows the grit and the grind that goes into these games. So, but that's what playoff hockey is all about. So I was beyond entertained by that. But yeah, I'm with you. There's been some sketchy officiating, not just in this series, but every single one of the series, it seems like. I just wish the officiating crews would realize no one's tuning in to watch them officiate games. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't care what player safety says. Let the boys play. I mean, there's a code of ethics that are, unspoken between players. Let them figure it out. And I think they will. So, what do you have on this one out of curiosity for the series?
So the series, I have New York to win the series. I think they're better on defense, and that's ultimately gonna get the job done for them. But like tonight, I don't have any specific action in this game. I might do the Rangers in a parlay just because the price at -160 is a little high. Now I'm like questioning the total, right? I think it's gonna go over 5.5. But at the same time, like I'm looking at what happened in game 1, right? I think the legs might be a little tired, might stay under for a +100 for positive odds there. That's kind of appealing to me. What's your take on the total?
Man, that's a tough one. I always in the playoffs say bet the over, just because with it's just such a different game. I mean, these guys realize that they have a 1 in, even in the NHL, a 1 in 32 or 3,200 shot to get to the Stanley Cup Finals and win the cup. So you're going to see a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't see in the regular season. But it's all bets are off, no pun intended. So I always heavily favor the over. With the exception of that Calgary-Dallas series, just because the staunch defensive, standpoints and the goaltending is just going to be the highlight of that series. But as far as the Pins and the Rangers go, it's hard for me not to take the over. They both have such extreme offensive powerhouses. I mean, you've got the Breadman on the Rangers. You've got Sidney Crosby, who arguably is one of, if not the best player in the NHL at any given time. I know it's going to probably rub some people the wrong way, but I mean, he said the kid for a reason. So I think the Rangers are a safe bet tonight, but I think overall you want to take the over in this series because I think they're going to put up some goals for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rangers bounce back. I think they know how to win games, right? Just for -160, that price as a straight bet doesn't do it for me today, but, maybe a little hockey parlay or something. Got some comments rolling in here. Merrill Coleman, let's go. Got to love that. Das Diggity, how we doing? Yo, Tanner, sup, homie. Hey, keep trying to hit those big parlays, Das Diggity. Keep trying to hit them. And then BP311 rolling in here. Rangers and Panthers money line. So, let's talk about the Capitals and the Panthers. Capitals stole one on Florida. Now, I usually say Minnesota is like a fraudulent hockey team. Like you said, they don't play well in the playoffs, right? But at the same time, when I said that and I posted that on TikTok, a lot of people came at me and said, hey, the Panthers are the most fraudulent team in hockey. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that. If you look at their offense and you look at how they played this year, it's hard to say that. Now, what's your take on Florida? And was game 1 just an absolute fluke?
I don't think it was a fluke. I mean, you still have a lot of guys on that Capitals team that won the Stanley Cup. They know what it takes to get there. Now, that being said, I think on paper, Florida is the most talented team in the playoffs right now. I mean, you don't go out and get a guy like Claude Giroux if you don't expect to make a massive run. So it'll be really interesting. I think the Panthers do ultimately take this series. I don't think it's going to be as easy as we saw in game one. I think it's going to take 6 games, but I do think Florida finally advances to the next round. I don't think they're a pretender, honestly. I think that they've got enough to do what it takes. I think Bobrovsky is playing a little bit better. I think last season that was a big issue for them, was paying a guy like Bobrovsky and then having a Spencer Knight kind of kid come in, play lights out. Now Spencer Knight has kind of regressed a little bit. I think that's done a lot of mental gain for Bobrovsky, because it's going to allow him to kind of refocus and be that guy again for Florida. So Florida, when they want to turn it on, they're going to turn it on. And I think they realize, okay, this is make or break for us, because we have a very small window and we got to get in the house and win the cup. So yeah, I think we're going to look at a 6-game series, but I think ultimately Florida's going to take it. But, obviously huge kudos to Ovechkin for the season he's had. He's going to catch Gretzky in the next couple seasons. So it's just phenomenal for us to be watching one of the best, if not the best goal scorer of all time. But unfortunately, this season is going to end in the first round for the Capitals. I'm thinking Panthers in 6 on this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was shocked the other night. I think Panthers cover on the puck line today too. I mean, -1.5 at +100 is a pretty good deal betting wise, especially coming off a loss, bouncing back. We've seen it in the NBA playoffs. We've seen it in the NHL playoffs. Game 2, a lot of teams come out and fight hard. So I'm going to go with the team that lost usually. Let's see here. Got some comments. I'd be so close, Tanner. Keep it up, Das. Keep it up. And then always 1 or 2 legs off in a 25-legger. Well, you know what? Listen to Jeff. You might get it. You might get that hit. You might get those second legs that you're missing there. So we'll move on to the next game now. As you said, I didn't watch the Nashville Colorado game because I'm like, I don't think it's going to be a game. But on my show the other day, a lot of people were coming in and say, hey, Nashville puck line +1.5 is the absolute move today. I'm sure a lot of them are watching on TikTok right now. And that obviously wasn't the case. Now, I have the over in this game. I think over 6.5 or -120 is a price I'm willing to pay, because they've gone over 3 times in their past 4 games, right? But at the same time, too, does Nashville have a chance to compete tonight at all?
No, not at all. Your goaltender, I believe, is still out for 1 more game. And as we've seen, there are some really solid backup options. And Nashville has a decent one, but the problem is, and I shouldn't say backup, I think we're in a day and age, unless you're Vasilevsky and the Tampa Bay Lightning, you really just have a 1A, 1B style system. But we're talking about the Colorado Avalanche. Not only are they pissed off, they're really good and they're pissed off. Nate McKinnon has had a lot of issues, I think, with his attitude. But I think this is the time of year where this is the best thing for him to have an attitude. And then Cal McCarr is arguably one of the most graceful, fantastic, and fastest skaters we've seen as a defenseman in a long time. And that's come from me watching Miro Heiskanen and seeing Cal McCarr on the ice. It just makes Heiskanen even look like, I mean, it's hard to describe how good Cal McCarr is. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Nashville fan. I never have been. I don't know if I ever will be. I just don't see it working for them, especially when you don't have your starting goaltender. And then you have to think Colorado at any given time can put up 7 goals like they did in game 1. I don't see them putting up any less than 4 today. But Nashville they'll stick around as far as the stat sheet goes. I think they'll put up a couple of goals, much like they did in the 7-2 loss. But I don't see them having nearly enough offensive firepower. I don't think they have as much grit as Colorado has. Colorado can go out and scrap with the best of them if they really want to. I think it's you look at a guy like Connor McDavid and you say, man, if he was just a little bit tougher. I think that's kind of what we're getting with Nate McKinnon. Nate McKinnon is tired of getting pushed around. He's tired of getting bumped out of the playoffs. He wants to solidify himself as one of the top, if not one of the best skaters and players in the NHL. I think it's going to be Calgary and Colorado in the Western Conference Final. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see Colorado sweep, and it's the only sweep we see. So,
yeah, definitely. That's how you know this guy's legit. He's going against his own team, the Dallas Stars. It's got to pain you to do that, though, a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. But, I mean, if you've watched even just one game of Dallas Stars hockey, we're a one-line team. And one of the guys on that line is Joe Pavelski, who is one of the older guys on the team at around, I think, 37. So Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Stars. I think they've got a lot of potential. They got a lot of young guys. And I don't want to go too deep into it because there is a very bipolar kind of stance on it. It's a small divide because there's so few that support him. But head coach Rick Bowness inherited this team from Jim Montgomery, who is now an assistant coach with the St. Louis Blues. But Rick Bowness is not a guy that's going to be able to run this team to the Stanley Cup Finals that he builds himself. Let's just put it like that. So he's kind of playing with house money here in Dallas. I don't think he has what it takes. I think we're going to see him leave after this season and retire. But the Stars have a lot of work to do. If they can take this series, it feels very reminiscent of the bubble where everyone picked the Flames to win. And ultimately the Stars went on to beat them in the first round. Then they went on to beat the most talented teams in the West with Vegas and Colorado, and eventually, unfortunately, fell short in the Stanley Cup final. But yeah, I love the Stars. Don't love these late start times here in the Central Time Zone. It's even worse for you on the Eastern Time Zone. They're probably starting at 10 p.m. It's unreal, but it is what it is. That being said, love my team, love my Stars. I just don't think this is the year.
Yeah, I got you. I have the under 5.5 in that game. Now, do you think the Stars can hang in there enough to cover plus 1.5? Because the juice is minus 132 on that. And I mean, that's a pretty appealing bet. Same thing with like a Nashville tonight, plus 2.5 at minus 140. I mean, there's a lot of people that are be willing to pay that price to have 2 goals of protection there. So I want to get both your opinions on that. First of all, we can start with the Stars and then go back to Nashville.
It's hard for me. Stars are good. One of those teams that they're good for one explosive game. Part of me feels like if they can get one past Markstrom tonight, it's going to be one of those games where they put up like 3 or 4, and then they don't do it again for the rest of the playoffs, however long they're in it. I hope I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I don't feel good about that one. I don't feel good about it because I feel like this is like one of those games where it's either going to go super haywire and they're going to lose probably 5-2, 5-1, or they're going to go absolutely banana lands, bonkers, and go up like 4-1 and then ultimately win it, 5-1 with an empty netter at the end. So it's hard for me. Nashville, I say, is a little bit safer of a bet, but I don't know if I can feel comfortable with that on the Dallas end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those dog puck lines are always tough. They look appealing sometimes to the juice, but they are tough. So we got some comments rolling in here. Let's see. Gloria, Red Sox broke my heart yesterday, Tanner. We'll talk about the Red Sox in a few minutes here. I can't spend time talking about that right now. I'm very angry at that franchise. I'm running back the Preds plus 1.5 there. Yeah, BP 311. He was high on him. Flames can beat the Avs and will if necessary. Okay, but he likes Predators tonight. Das Diggy coming in here. I need a good 14 parlay in baseball. We'll get that here in a few minutes. I'm hoping this is a high-scoring one. I grabbed the over in Dallas-Calgary. You are a brave man because, let's talk about this for a minute. I took the over in game 1. I was thinking back to that April 21st game where it was a 4-2 game. Like, Dallas can get 2 in the net tonight. Calgary should put up 4. Johnny Gaudreau should have a big game. He was kind of nowhere to be found, so I'm going to go under tonight. You said take the under in this game, but you're always big on overs, as you said in the playoffs. So, why are you leaning under here, knowing the Stars could be somewhat explosive?
Because I think the explosiveness of the Dallas Stars is more of like a boring game for some other franchises. Again, it sounds like I'm knocking my own team, but you watch them for 82 games and you see the ups and downs and you realize this is not a potent offensive or a high potency style offensive team. This is a grinder team. This is a team that's going to skate with you back and forth and really try to beat you in the neutral zone. Puck possession is really big to them. Up until Rick Bowness decides to put on the dump and chase, which happens more often than not, unfortunately. But that being said, when you've got guys like Jake Ottinger and Markstrom in net, you always want to look for low-scoring affairs. Markstrom has had one of the most phenomenal seasons of his entire career, and I've always said that the Flames are so close every time they make it to the playoffs. They just need some solid goaltending. So if Markstrom can come off of a game where he gave up 0 goals, now granted, the Stars only had 16 shots in that first game. That's about normal for the Stars, sadly, when it comes to those kind of games. But if the Stars can put up 20 to 25 shots, I can see them sneaking one past Markstrom, maybe 2. But with Ottinger's on his game, like we saw, he only gave up 1. These guys are coming off extremely fantastic goaltending performances on both ends. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to bet the over in this series, just because I know for a fact that both teams defensively can support their goaltending when they want to. And when those goaltenders are on, they're on. And it's going to be really tough to put up multiple goals on both ends of the ice. Now, obviously, with that being said, it's the biggest thing is if someone does go out of the gate and really kind of blow up with a 3 or 4 goal win, we're going to see it at the mercy of a 0 or 1 goal, opposing. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to bet the over on these, is because I see one team really performing well and the other one just kind of like, kind of going quiet offensively. But it's definitely going to be interesting. And this is a game 2 kind of sets the tone for the rest of the series for a lot of these series. So it'll be interesting to see if the Stars can battle back. If they can get a win here, I will be more than thrilled. I think coming back to Dallas, that does them a ton of favors. But yeah, it's just hard for me with this team and this and the Calgary Flames too to bet the over, because I know how staunch they can be defensively, and those goaltenders just, when they're on, they just don't give anything up. So.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of comments on TikTok saying 5.5 so low. I'll take the over, but I fell victim to that the other night, and I'm not going to make the mistake again. Last question for you, Jeff. Here, we look at the future markets for the Stanley Cup. Avs are first at plus 300, Calgary plus 600, Panthers plus 650, Carolina plus 700, then Toronto at plus 1,000. Those are the top 5 teams. I mean, out of all those teams, I think the most value is on Toronto, obviously at plus 1,000. But if you had to give me a winner right now, someone to take, who would it be?
On the Western Conference side, I really feel like if Calgary can continue the rhythm they have with their goaltending and take this first series against Dallas, I think Calgary has a team that is built for the playoffs and the Stanley Cup. So, like I said, I see Calgary and Colorado in the Western Conference Finals. I've picked Calgary in most of those brackets that I've done, so I'm going to have to go with Calgary. On the Eastern Conference side, man, it's really tough. If Carolina does in fact take this first round, especially if they somehow pull off the 4-game sweep, Carolina has been knocking on that door for a very long time. And I think that this might be the year. Now, it'll be interesting because we saw that there was a goaltending injury yesterday with Inti Ranta, and he, may not be available for the next game. So, it'll be interesting to see what the goaltending situation is with Carolina. But it may not be a safe bet, but if Toronto can make it out of this first round against Tampa Bay at plus 1,000, you put a little bit of, change on that, you might come out looking real smart and feeling real rich after that, because, man, I don't know. I don't know what it is about this team. They've just got a good mix of veterans, young guys, and Premier League players. So, if Austin Matthews can get hot, if Campbell can continue to play well in net, man, I really think that they have an opportunity to go on and play really well into the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, this could all backfire and they could become victim of the first round again. But I think the safest bet for the Eastern Conference might be Carolina, and then on the flip side, Calgary is going to be your safest bet with the Western Conference.
Yeah, people are not high on the Leafs. Leafs won't make it out of the first round. They choke every year. That's what people are saying in the chat. We'll see. Yep. We'll see. I mean, they got to go through Vasilevsky, so it's not going to be super easy. But Jeff, really appreciate you joining the show today on May 5th here. Now, if people want to, check out Whatahockey podcast, if I'm saying Whata, it's Whatahockey Whataburger, right?
Yep. Nailed it.
Okay. I'm a Northeast guy, as I said. So, Whatahockey podcast. If they want to check that out, where can they find you? How many days a week you doing it? All that good stuff.
So we usually release one episode a week. We're looking to do a couple more here, interviews left and right, just kind of freestyling it when we can. But we usually release an episode every Thursday. Today is Thursday, Cinco de Mayo, so we did release an episode this morning. We had the emergency goalie that played for the Ducks against the Stars in that last game last Friday, Tom Hodges. Really great interview. We did it live from a bar here in Richardson, Texas, called Northside Draft House. Had a blast talking with him. Really interesting take to see how his day went leading up to it, because when you're an e-bug in the NHL, you have no idea when the day comes that you're going to be in that situation. And he's only the third one, I think, in the past 10 years to be used, if not longer. Obviously, with David Ayers and Scott Foster of the Blackhawks. So really cool take to hear what he had to say. But you can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, at Whatahockey. We have a Facebook, Whatahockey. We have a LinkedIn. We don't use it very often because, we're kind of semi-professional, and I guess that's a professional website. But yeah, you can find us on there. We're on YouTube at Whatahockey. Anytime we do a live recording, we always post the video on there. So yeah, really want to say thank you to having me on here, to Team Parlay for letting me be a part of this, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot more work here in the future.
Yeah, awesome. So when I post this, I'll post our show, obviously, but I'll clip this interview and then I'll link all his social handles below so you guys can check those out. So Jeff, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. And we'll hopefully talk to you soon.
Awesome, Tanner. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Thank you. All right, guys. So let's talk picks for the day. A lot of people looking to do the picks, guys. A lot of people looking to get and make some money. Now, yesterday we were 4-5. That needs to get better today. And you know what? I regret doing it, people. I regret taking the Sixers at +8, but I did it. So if you guys got comments, I've been seeing your comments roll in about the picks and stuff. Please, please, please re-put them in. If you guys have questions about games or anything, put them in because I'm not going to go back and scroll through all the hockey comments to get there because we got picks to win. We got money to win in baseball today. We got money to win in hockey still. Hockey, I didn't give my picks there. I kind of did, but we'll go over those in a little bit. So we're mainly focusing on baseball right now, people. Let me know what you're taking today. Let me know how you're winning money today, and let's get into it. New York Rangers -155. Love at least they're going to take at least one in Tampa. Mets over or under. So I just took Mets +1.5. When you look at the arms on the mound in that game, you got Aaron Nola versus Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker's absolutely shoved this season. Aaron Nola gives up a lot of home runs, but elite strikeout ability. Probably got to lean towards the under, but again, it's so low. That's what makes it tough, guys. That's what makes it really tough. Let me pull up my book here, Caesar Sportsbook, guys. Let me pull up some baseball odds so we can really dive deep into these. You got prop questions, let me know. A lot of you guys are asking about props. I will be hammering baseball props, but I just got to get through basketball props. I just got to get through hockey before we really start diving all in and giving you guys some big-time winners there. Ohtani at 1 p.m., got to ride Angels. Boston hasn't been Boston until they prove themselves. I'm on LA 100%. I agree with that. I trust bet your house on the Panthers. Bet your house on the Panthers. Okay. Jays 1.5. I have Jays 1.5 today. You guys are reading my mind already. So let's get into it. We're going to start with the Nationals and the Rockies at under of 11 in this game. So there were 7 runs scored yesterday, guys. 5-2 game. When I look at this game today, Antonio Santazella is going against Aaron Sanchez. Now, Aaron Sanchez is a low-key bum, right? He's not pitching very well. Same thing with Santazella. He's not been great this year, but at the same time, he's going against Nationals lineup where you got to shut down really 2 guys. 2 guys are critical to shut down, Juan Soto and Josh Bell. And if you can shut those guys down, you're going to be in really, really good shape, right? With that being said, too, for under purposes, when I look at under, I look at strikeouts and walks. Each pitcher, they might be a bum, and I know the ball flies in Colorado, but at the same time, too, people, they have a combined 4 walks and 2 bombs in 39 innings of work together. That's not a lot. 4 walks, 2 bombs, 39 innings together. Group it up, guys. So with that being said, if they can keep the ball in the yard, it's tough to reach 11. It's tough to reach 11 if you can keep the ball in the yard. If you limit base runners and you limit homers, your odds of hitting an under go way. They improve vastly. Okay, improved vastly. So with that being said, I really like the under in this game. The Rockies could have a field day off Aaron Sanchez. I'm not going to lie. Also, another bonus for us, Chris Bryant's on the injured list right now. So him being out is huge for this under because you're taking a power bat out of Colorado, which is big time for us. Tigers money line today. Tigers money line. When I look at the Tigers against the Astros, I would not go Tigers money line. I actually have the under in this game, and I'll let you guys know why. It might be a little crazy if when you hear it, but I'm going to let you know my thought process going under. Rangers not getting swept at home, just hammered their spread and money line. I like that today. Really like that. Detroit money line. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but Scooble going for them against Urquidy. That's going to be a tight game. At the same time, too, I think there's more value on Detroit, but Detroit's only hit 10 home runs this year, people. They cannot beat a team like Houston not hitting home runs. That's why Houston's been good. If you look at Detroit's numbers, they're pretty much all better than Houston offensively, except for that home run. And we know in baseball right now how critical strikeouts are and how critical homers are to winning baseball games. So we'll go Mets +1.5 here. Now, this is -150 juice when I got it. If you don't like it, don't take it. If you want to go Mets money line, I think there's a lot of value on them at +140, +150. But I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go +1.5. I'm going to play this as a straight. I'm going to go a 1-unit straight to try to make half my money back there. And then I might do Mets money line. I'll probably include this in a parlay as well. This is something I would do with, like, if I wanted to go like Rangers money line, I might do a New York parlay and I might throw that together. Mets +1.5 and then New York Rangers money line. I think there's a lot of value on that. All right. So BP311 coming in here. I'm jumping on the Mets train today. I think, yeah, for +140, I think it's great odds, but +1.5, I really do like that. +120 money line last night. There you go. What's up with first 5 innings, first 5 total run parlay? I can do that, Das. It might be in Discord because I want to give you guys something good and have some time to look at it, but I can definitely do that. Brewers money line today. If the Brewers don't beat the Reds today, yeah, I mean, -235, it's great. My only fear is these Reds are due. Like they're due, and eventually they're going to win. So I don't like put your house against the Reds. I think that's a good thing to do in like game 1 of a series. Hunter Green going against Adrian Hauser today. Yeah, I like them -1.5 at -118. I think you could even go run line there. So the Mets should win outright today. I'm going to be honest, because they're hitting well. They're doing the little things right. They're converting with runners in scoring position, right? Why don't we bet against the Reds every day? We do pretty much bet against the Reds every day. We do. But I hate the Brewers. So we're going to take a pause on that. I can't stand the Brewers. I can't stand them, people, because they've lost me so much freaking money. This Brewers team can lose to the Reds. If the Reds win a game, it'll be against the Brewers this year. Anyways, Mets should win outright today, but I like them at +1.5. Give me a little more protection. This is a good parlay piece. Aaron Nola gets too much respect from bookmakers, in my opinion. He's very good. Don't get me wrong, elite strikeout ability, but he's given up home runs, given up 5 bombs this year. That's his kryptonite, right? That's his biggest issue. Taijuan Walker going for the Mets. I know he's only got 7 innings of work, people, but 0.57 whip. He's only pitched 7 innings. This Mets offense should get the job done today. I'm going to be honest, but +1.5, I'll take that protection. And I'll probably do a little New York parlay. Why don't we bet against the Reds every day? And then someone comes in. Wait. It's the same guy. BTK 1205. You can't say, why don't we bet against the Reds every day? And then say Reds money line. Be careful with Walker. He's so hit or miss. Yeah, but he's been hit. Aaron Nola's hit or miss too, really. When you look at his numbers this year, Aaron Nola hasn't been the guy to say, hey, here's the baseball. Go out and win me a baseball game. So I'm going to go with the Mets at +1.5. I'm going to take that extra protection, knowing this Mets bullpen has performed well, knowing this Mets offense has performed well. And I want to say one thing, and I want to say one thing right now, people. I need to get this through your head. We have hammered the Mets all season. We have literally hammered the Mets all season long. So we can't – they lose yesterday. We can't say like, oh, my God, F the Mets, right? No. This team has made us a lot of money. They're 18-9 right now. They've pretty much won outright as favorites. They haven't been great as dogs, but they're only 1-2 as dogs. I think they've only played 3 games as dogs. So this is a rarity today. So just keep that in mind, guys. We can't curse the Mets for losing. Don't forget the soccer parlay. You got to share it with me, though. Don't forget the soccer play for today. You got to share it with me. Send it on Discord. Join Discord. Send it. Put it in the comments section. I gotta see it. I'm going to tail it. I'm going to let people know that that's your pick, and I'm tailing. And if I win it, I'm taking credit for it, though. Kidding. Comments rolling in here. Let's see. I'm taking a shot on Reds money line at +200. Caesars, they're due. Yeah, they are due. A half unit play. I mean, they are due, guys. They're going to win a game. Like I said, they're due. They're on pace for 25 wins. If you pick them on the days they're going to win the games, you're in good shape. Pitching props. I can look at some pitching props. Appleby 28. Cardinals money line. Mikolas on the mound. The Cardinals are dead to me. I hate what they do. Once they get DeGrom back, they will be rolling. They're rolling right now without DeGrom. Cardinals money line. Mikolas is on the mound. Yep, we got that coming in here. If we faced Reds, we'd probably get swept. Who are you talking about? Brewers? What's your team, though? Let me know what your team is. Let's get those likes up, guys. Let's keep them going. So now we'll go Tigers versus Astros under 8.5 here. I'd look at this game. Now, it might seem crazy with this Astros lineup, but at the same time, Tigers have only hit 10 bombs this season. Betting on a team because they're due is a bad way to look at things. Yeah, it is 100%. But in baseball, I think it's something you can look at a little more rather than football, right? Because it's 1 game a week versus baseball, a terrible team. Let's just say like a bad team like the Orioles is still going to win 60 games, 50, 60 games, right? Comments rolling in so quickly, guys. Angels, Reds, Nerfy. We'll get to that in a minute, guys. Red Sox, Nerfy. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me just get through my Tigers pick here. Tarek Skubal, one of the best pitchers for Detroit this season. He has not allowed a homer, and that's huge for an under, especially when you're going against an Astros team that can really hit the ball, right? Urquidy's going. He has not been good, but at the same time, he's going against the Tigers lineup that he has the ability to dominate today. He does. So if we can limit their scoring and that the Tarek Skubal can do something against this Astros lineup, maybe go 4 or 5 innings, give up 1-2 runs. I really do like the under on this. I would not play the over. If you want to do anything, I would stay away from it, but I really do like the under here. All right, let's get to these comments here. Then we'll talk hockey picks. We already talked hockey, so I got my 2 picks. I'll just give them to you real quick, and we'll really focus on baseball. We'll talk pitch and props and all that good stuff. Predators versus Avalanche. I like the over of 6.5. I think this is a 4-3 or 5-3 game. Nathan McKinnon steps up. He was relentless in game 1. It's going to be the same thing tonight. I don't think the Predators have a chance. I know BP 311 is pretty high on the Predators in here. Just from what they showed me in game 1, I can't trust that. And then we're going to go Stars Flames under 5.5. Johnny Gaudreau was far from impressive in game 1. I don't think he really does. I wouldn't say I don't think he does anything. I think he finds the back of the net a couple times tonight, but at the same time, too, the Stars team isn't going to score, and they're going to play good on defense. Calgary's going to play good on defense, just like we said, when Jeff was in here talking about that. So those are my 2 hockey plays. I might add one more play, and we will see. But if you want that, make sure you're following us on Bet the Day on TikTok. All right. Let's go. Why? Yeah, here's why I hate the Cardinals, people, because they scored 10 runs when I needed them to not score anything yesterday. All right, so let's get to these comments here. Betting on a baseball team. We read that. Angels, Red Sox, Nerfy. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Angels and the Red Sox. I've been so cold on Nerfies. It's not even funny, people. The days I don't play them, though, I usually say, hey, like the game that I like doesn't, it usually hits. So let's see. Red Sox, Nerfy. You got Shohei going. Shohei's been good this year, but again, he got beat up. He's been beat up in a few starts, right? 30 strikeouts. He's got elite strikeout ability. He's only given up 2 homers. Yeah, the thing that I worry about is Rich Hill right now. Now, the scores have been pretty limited early in these games. The Red Sox have been the ones jumping on the Angels early, and the Angels are fighting back. But keep in mind, the Angels scored 10 yesterday. Most of that was in extras, right? And then the day before, they had 0 runs. So I think that's good. Taylor Ward's hitting well. That scares me a little bit. Mike Trout's hitting well. Shohei is going to be in the lineup today. That scares me. But again, 109 whip, 129 whip. That's what I look at when I'm doing Nerfies. Rich Hill's been delivering, and then Shohei's been delivering. It's a big game. It's a big spot for Rich Hill. I think they're going to be just fine. I don't trust Boston to hit till later in the game. But, I think this is a good Nerfy bet. If I had to pick my favorite Nerfy of the day, I think Boston and LA is a good one. But I think we're just trying to bet that because it's a 1:36 start time, honestly. But let's see here. Yeah, I think Mets Phillies is good with Walker and Nola. I know there's a lot of potent bats there, but at the same time, I think that's pretty damn good. Detroit and Houston, I don't hate that. I really don't hate that because Detroit doesn't hit homers. And at the same time, too, Tarek Skubal can go 1-2-3 against Houston to start the game off. Miami and San Diego, Martinez versus Lardo, I don't hate that either. There's a lot of valuable plays. Rays, Mariners, McClanahan versus Robbie Ray. I might be doing some Nerfies today, people. There's a lot of good plays. St. Louis, I don't have an opinion on until San Francisco names a starter, but I would say no. I don't trust them at all, especially after San Francisco getting their asses kicked against the Dodgers past couple days. Like, with that being said, I'm going to go with San Francisco because I trust them to bounce back. I do. I don't think St. Louis's offensive explosion yesterday means absolutely anything when it comes to betting. I really don't because they haven't done it. They beat up Chris Bubbick. I could beat up Chris Bubbick. And you know what? I played freshman baseball. Okay, come on now. Come on. I did play men's league. I got a couple hits in men's league. Now I just play softball. Anyways, BP311 coming on. Looking forward to having you back on this week in sports betting tomorrow at 6 p.m. on my YouTube channel. Yeah, check that out, guys. I will be there representing 3-Team Parlay on BP311's podcast. We're going to be doing that actually from Mohegan, where if you're going to the sportsbook at Mohegan Sun tomorrow, if you're around, we're going to be there doing interviews and stuff with people, doing some prank stuff with some hidden microphones. So it should be fun, guys. Make sure you tune in for that. I'll have all those clips posted on TikTok. Tigers money line in the under. What do I think in the Cardinals-Giants game? Honestly, guys, I like the Giants. I think there's more value on them at -132. Now, keep in mind, that's probably going to shift upwards when they do name a starter. I don't have a starter named right now. If someone has any inside information, please let me know. Who are you taking? The Cardinals, Giants? Who? Angels, Nerfy? Yeah. Man, you hate the Cardinals. I don't hate the Cardinals at all. I love the Cardinals. They just screwed me yesterday. Brewers -1.5, guys. If you ask me, I'm just going to give you guys like a standard opinion here. If you ask me Brewers, like anything with the Brewers against the Reds, I hate the Brewers, but any team against the Reds, I will say yes. Bet them run line against the Reds just from what they've shown me. The Reds can't win a game. They're on pace for 25 wins. So, of course, they're going to lose games by a lot. Rockies, Nerfy. I like that. I do like that because I got the under in that game. So, obviously, if the Rockies Nerfy hit, that would be great. But keep in mind, the balls do fly out of Colorado. So, if one gets up into the stratosphere, it's probably going to go. Chris Bryant being out helps. So, that's good. Sup, Tanner? Trent Daddy, how we doing? Tanner once took Bubbick Yard. I did once take Bubbick Yard. I took Bubbick Yard. I could take Bubbick Yard any day. Listen, to what he was throwing at, he went 0.1 innings. I think, honestly, give me a year to train. I'll go in. I'll throw 82. I'll throw 82. I'll drop a nice little curveball in there. I could shut these guys down because they haven't seen anything like that. You either got to be like 98 or you got to be like 87 in locate. I'll be like 82 in locate. They won't have anything on me. Rays Mariners over. So I was thinking about this. It was at 6.5. So sharp movement obviously got it up to 7 right now. With that being said, though, people bet 6.5 totals because it's 6.5, right? That's so limited runs, right? At 7, I don't know if I love it. Shane McClanahan and Robbie Ray both have the ability to absolutely shove, right? Let me get you a little more information on this game, but they haven't been great this year. They have not been unbelievable this year. So Shane McClanahan, 3 ERA, 1.0 whip. Robbie Ray, 4.15, 1.25 whip. The biggest problem for these guys has been their home runs. They've given them 8 combined home runs this season. So just watch for that. Now, with that being said, both teams have decent home run power, right? The Mariners do things right. The Tampa Bay Rays do things right. I think as long as they can get to the bullpen early, this game could go over. It's one I would fade, honestly, based on the starting pitchers. I wouldn't want to take under because they've been shaky, but they're also good enough to shove. So that's my opinion there. I would probably fade that. I think there's better plays than that. Tonight, though, I will say this: Mariners money line is a decent play at plus 118. They're 7-2 at home right now. They're feeling good. The Rays are 6-3 away. The Rays are coming off a pretty easy series against the Oakland A's, right? Easy sweep. Mariners were tested against Houston. They haven't had much luck. They're back at home. They're against a team that they can play against. So I think Mariners money line's a decent play tonight, considering how good they've been at home. Again, I'm not going to play that though. That's just my take on that. Brewers Reds over 7.5. Green versus Hauser. Yeah, I would go. This is hard because the Reds don't score a lot of runs. The Brewers are so shaky at the plate. Like, I could see this being a 2-1 game. I could see this being a 3-1 game. Because the Brewers they're very inconsistent on offense. So 7.5 is low enough to take it. But with that being said, I would probably rather go under on that. Let's see. Tanner, my guy, put it on Discord. Daily Picks first game is at 12 p.m. So don't sleep on it. Guy, did I put my picks in Discord? No, I haven't. Oh, Tanner, my guy, put it on Discord. Daily Pick. You got to put your soccer pick on Discord. But I won't sleep on it. Don't worry. I'll put my picks on there, guys. My picks are always on TikTok. They're on TikTok before the show started today. So make sure you guys get that in mind. So let's do our big ticket item. You guys can ask your final questions here, and then we will move on. We can talk basketball. We can talk baseball, whatever you guys want. Throw your stuff in. But let's get to our big ticket item for the day. So our big ticket item came from last night's Suns game. This was on FanDuel, $25.26, probably an extra 26 cents the guy had in his account to win $2,452.72. Jay Crowder, 3+ made threes. Jay Crowder over 6.5 rebounds. Jay Crowder over 11.5 points. Reggie Bullock, 4+ threes. That was huge. He had a big night. He popped off. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, 3+ threes. $25 to win $2,452. That was a good night. You did put it on. Okay, hey, DM me, send it directly to me, and then I'll do a TikTok video on soccer. Say I'm tailing you. That's what I'm going to do. So send it to me. It's a 12 p.m. start, so I got to get my shit together on that, guys. But any other final questions, guys? If you're watching on YouTube, throw it in the chat. If you're watching on TikTok, throw it in the chat, and then we'll sign off here at an hour. A really fun show. I appreciated Jeff coming on. That was a blast having him talking hockey. I'm going to clip that, and I'm going to put it separately in a different video on YouTube here. I'm starting to wonder if Dallas has a pulse after game 2. I'm never betting against Dallas again. I'm never never betting with Dallas again. I should say that. Like, they genuinely scare me right now how they've played. So I just don't think they have the firepower to do it just because Luka's the only guy. Padres, Marlins. I like Padres. I do. I know Luzardo's on the mound, but I like Padres. I'm going to go with the better team. And overall, the Padres are a better team, 100%. I saw a lot of people in Discord were high on the Marlins today. And the Marlins have been good, but like, the Padres are 16-9. They're 6-4 at home. The Marlins are 500 on the road. Basically, they're 12-12 this season. You shut down Chaz Chisholm Jr., you don't really have much of an issue there. Nick Martinez has not been great this year. Jesus Luzardo hasn't been great either, though. He just keeps the ball in the yard. That's the biggest thing. But again, the Padres are doing the little things right. They got a 325 OBP. They don't need to hit the long ball just to win games. They have great pitching. They have a really good bullpen. They got a 1.18 whip right now. So the Padres are doing the little things right. And again, the Marlins are on a 4-game losing streak. They just got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, I can't trust that team against the Padres. They've been making me a lot of money too. So I'm glad you guys agree with that. But I'm going to go with the Padres there. That's my pick. Now, Miami is 8-3 as an underdog. Keep that in mind. But at the same time, too, San Diego's 12-7 as a favorite. So now this is a pick'em game. I believe it was -108 on both sides when I looked this morning. Yeah, it still is. So I would go San Diego. I didn't play this bet, and I might still play it. But you guys have my pick. So I'll recap mine real quick here. We're going to start with Nationals Rockies under 11. Let's see what sharp movement has done to that. Still at 11. Okay. Mets plus 1.5 today. Blue Jays minus 1.5. Tigers, Astros under 8.5. We're going to go Predators, Avalanche over 6.5. And then Stars, Flames under 5.5. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah. So minus 110, minus 108, depending on what book you're using, guys. So any other questions, guys, throw them in the chat and we will sign off here. Really good show, guys. I appreciate everything today. A lot of fun having Jeff on. Grant Mitchell, I believe, is going to join me. If you guys remember him, he came on last Friday. No NBA today, but we got Grant coming on tomorrow, most likely to talk NBA. If not, I'll talk NBA. We'll have a good time there. We'll break down some props. And it's good we have a day off from NBA. I'm going to be real because it gives us a chance to prepare. It gives us a chance to really look at player props and all that good stuff. And put together some winners, guys. Put together a big same game parlay, right? Gotta love it. So any other questions, guys, throw them in the chat. If not, we will sign off here. Make sure you join Discord, guys. Discord's the #1 place to talk to me every day. So you can see there's a lot of Discord regulars on here, guys. We talk. I know these guys through Discord, right? People talk to me. They talk to our community. We have a pick section. We have a winner section, guys. So you see all that stuff. A lot of fun. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube. Please, if you're on TikTok, go over to YouTube and subscribe. Follow me on TikTok there. Follow our Bet the Day pod. Follow me personally at Tanner Kern on TikTok, guys. And then also, let's get the merchandise going. We're trying to sell these Bet the Day t-shirts. We're working hard here, guys. 7 days a week, people. 7 days a week. We're working our ass off here, people. Come on now. Buy a t-shirt. Gotta love it. YouTube Wilcox coming in here. Love Grant. I do love Grant, too. He's very, very knowledgeable when it comes to basketball. Very knowledgeable, a lot of sports. So very excited to talk basketball with him tomorrow. Hopefully he's going to come on. I will confirm that later. I can confirm now on TikTok. If not, you'll have me. Sorry about that. And I'm kidding. You guys are tuning in right now. So that'll be fun. And we'll talk basketball, we'll talk hockey, and we will talk baseball as usual, guys. So sign off here. Hope everyone has a great day. Hope everyone wins some money. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Have fun. We'll talk to you soon.